Welcome to Module 1, Business Startups, Venturing into Entrepreneurship. So you're thinking about starting a new business. It's time to put your business skills to the test, all that theory into practice. Let's start by asking, what's the big idea? What is the driving force, the main product, the specific focus that is going to launch your business and set it apart from all the other businesses out there, competing for market share and market attention? In this module, we'll introduce the basics for business startups and focus on ideas, one of the most basic of the basics. So ideas, what are they? Where do they come from? In this module, we'll look at ways to take an idea and flesh it out into a stronger, more viable set of ideas or principles. We'll explore tools to help you develop your unique and creative concept into a big idea with the potential to take the market by storm. These tools will lead you through self-exploration to add depth and breadth to what you're already thinking, and we'll zero in on our goal, crafting big idea statements that are reasonably possible. Let's start by considering facts and stats about business startups. Steve Blank has defined a business startup as a temporary organization designed to search for a repeatable and scalable business model. Did you catch the key words in that definition? A startup is temporary and organized with a specific purpose, to search out or develop a business model that is both repeatable and scalable. This is critical because research tells us that 543,000 small businesses are created each month in the United States alone. 543,000. In 2011, 6.3% of the entire adult population of the United States, about 11.5 million people, owned a small business. Broken down by month, this means an average of 0.32% of the adult population of the United States created a small business every 30 days in 2011. Wow! That's an enormous number. As you can imagine, only a fraction of those startups last. If you want yours to go the distance, there are some important principles you need to take into consideration up front. Congratulations! By deciding to take this course now, you are giving yourself a much better chance of landing in the category of those small business owners who succeed rather than those small business owners who fail. We're talking about the difference between Bill Gates and Bill, who never heard of him, Smith. Small business owners succeed or fail based on the quality of their ideas. But what are ideas? According to Webster, ideas are formulated thoughts or opinions, as well as indefinite or unformed concepts. So we've got two competing definitions here. On the one hand, ideas are formulated, specific thoughts or opinions. On the other hand, they can also be unformed concepts. Which definition do you think syncs with a small business destined for greatness? Let's consider where ideas come from. Some say that happens when hunches collide. So they are the serendipity that results from gut feelings taking on a life of their own. Okay, that's one way of looking at ideas. Here's another. Ideas are often solutions to the problems we encounter. So you're going through life and you run into a problem. You look for possible solutions to the problem, but don't find any you like or any that seem to work for you. So you start to think, what could I do to solve this problem? As you think about it, you may just come up with the next great thing. Think Saran wrap or Post-it notes or Velcro. Simple ideas that solved problems in a unique way. Solutions that turned an idea into an insanely lucrative business. This slide answers the question, where do ideas come from? As you can see, ideas originate in our experiences. So everything we see, hear, touch, taste, and smell gets filtered by the subconscious and stored up, just waiting for that eureka moment. All our sensory perceptions wind up in the brain, where our synapses search for patterns that link our experiences together. Your brain is busy 24/7, making sense of all that it perceives in the world around you. When the synapses collide, forging a new connection between existing concepts, Shazam! A new idea is born. One of the most creative minds of our time, Steve Jobs, said it this way: creativity is just connecting things. Translated into small business terms, every person thinking about starting a business is looking for that eureka or Shazam moment, when thoughts collide and a great idea is born. In other words, problem solved. Now, it's important to note that not all ideas are original, but just because they aren't original doesn't mean they aren't good ideas. For instance, I've never thought to put an avocado on a sandwich. Maybe I'll try that next time. Not a revolution in lunch cuisine, but a tasty idea nonetheless. Or, what a nice jacket. Where did you get that? Maybe you're not destined to be the next Chanel or Dior, but that's not to say you might not start the next trend in designer fashion. Or here's another. The neighbors planted some nice flowers this weekend. I think we should plant some too. Hello, Home Depot. What magic can I make with a free Saturday afternoon? While some ideas seem to spring out of nowhere, there's nothing to say ideas have to be original. Can you say Pinterest? So you think you've got the next great idea. What do you do with it? Do you rush out and act on it immediately? When's the last time that worked out for you? Do you decide not to act on it immediately? I bet most of us have that action down really well. What about this response? Do you decide not to act on your great ideas right away, but write them down and file them away somewhere, planning to come back to them the next time you have a block of spare time with nothing else to do but go back through your great ideas file? Or what about this approach? Do you think about the idea and try to form connections with your strengths and interests? There are lots of tools out there for idea building. This graphic shows us a few. People, innovation, feedback, encouragement, rewards, time, thinking, fun, leaders, mentors. You get the picture. Just as ideas come to us through all the senses and perceptions of the world around us, just about anything or anyone can help flesh out those same ideas. Just like the marination and time improve a good cut of meat, mental rumination over time improves a fledgling big idea. Sorting through all the inputs we get and fleshing out a great business idea is a process known as idea funneling, and it consists of 3 stages: brainstorming, exploration, and consolidation. In the brainstorming phase, all ideas are possible. You remember this from elementary school, right? There are no bad ideas here. At every brainstorming table, there is room for the good, the bad, and the ludicrous. From there, we move on to the exploration phase. Here is where we seek to learn and understand each of the ideas offered. So, here's where we sort those ideas: good from bad, bad from ludicrous, ludicrous but possible from ludicrous, and I can't believe someone said that out loud. Finally, in the consolidation phase, we make decisions to move forward on the best, most feasible ideas. So, idea funneling moves us from the sky's the limit freedom of brainstorming to making decisions about what is the best great idea or set of ideas we can come up with. Then there's idea jamming. Think of this as an exercise like hot potato, only with ideas. So one person starts with an idea, the next person enhances it in some way, and so on and so forth. There are 3 rules for idea jamming. Rule number 1, always begin the next idea with yes and or and, so that the same idea is built upon. This isn't start with one idea and the next person moves to the next idea on the list. It's add and enhance at this point, not subtract or substitute. Rule number 2, never question the feasibility of the idea or start with the word no. Rule number 3, don't think about it for too long. Add to the idea and move on. We're not looking for the solution to world conflict here. The results of idea jamming can be pretty astounding. As you try it, you'll discover that, in the end, the final idea is often nothing like the original idea. It is usually better. Here's an example of idea jamming to prime your mental pump. Someone says, I think a toaster oven should have a digital display. The next person says, yes, and the temperature control should be easy to manipulate, to which the next person adds, yes, and wouldn't it be great if it had preset favorites like the microwave? And then the next person says, cool, and the user should be able to customize their list of favorites. Yes, says the next person, and the toaster oven's handle should be insulated. Absolutely, says the last person at the table. And when you open the door, the tray should slide out automatically. You see how that works? So, let's take a few minutes now for some self-exploration. Recall that 2 of the main reasons that people start businesses are to use their skills or abilities and to see their big ideas realized. Now that we've looked at what ideas are, where they come from, and some ways to develop them, let's explore our own experiences, interests, and observations. To do this, we'll consider 3 questions and focus in on how we answer them. Are you ready? Here are the questions. 1. What am I good at? 2. What do I love to do? 3. What does the world need? How you answer these questions will point you in the direction of your best big ideas for small business success.